Hi, I'm Simon, and this is a video I've felt compelled to make because of a couple of articles I've read on the internet today and because I want to ask you guys a question. You see, I was reading the feature article pages of Eurogamer.net and Polygon.com, and at the top of both websites they had a review for the same game and they came to pretty much the same conclusion. They both wrote the article, different writers wrote it in different ways, analysed the game slightly differently, but they both gave it the same score and came to the conclusion that it is a total turkey, a complete stinker. And what I wanted to ask you guys really is, can a game that is a total turkey, a game that's bad and flawed and beyond repair maybe, are there games out there that you know in your mind and in your heart are bad, but you still love and you still get enjoyment from them? You see, the game they were talking about in this article, or these articles, is Aliens, Colonial Marines. And I don't know about you guys, but this is a game that I felt certain that it wouldn't be the best or the most groundbreaking first-person game of all time, but I felt sure it was going to be a solid 7 out of 10. And I was shocked after reading both of these reviews quite how bad it actually is. And it's not just one thing that's wrong with it, it's flawed in numerous places, allegedly. Obviously, I haven't played the game, so I can't really give you my take on it. I can only go by what I've read on these two websites and also all the comments different people had left on it who've either got the game or that they've read other reviews on other websites. And I do have one second-hand account from a very good friend in the real world who has bought it and played it through and has told me about it. So the general feeling for this Aliens game is that it's very generic, it's very bland, that the storyline, let's just talk about that to begin with, that it's full of plot holes, that it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, that the writers have not bothered to fill in those plot holes in any way, that it's got kind of ropey, uninspired dialogue, the characters are not interesting, the gameplay that's connected to the storyline is rather monotonous, that you're trudging around doing the same thing again and again and again. There's a lack of variety. Then you couple that with the fact that the game engine is really glitchy. There's a lot of problems with kind of AI and the kind of the maps of where the nets within the maps of which the characters follow. They kind of get stuck. I mean, you can YouTube these things. There are a lot of kind of funny and stupid things in the game that make it feel like these people actually play test it. So my impression was that Gearbox, who have obviously done great things in the past in the form of Borderlands and Borderlands 2, which I haven't played but heard very good things about, that they've got hold of this Aliens game and they've shipped a lot of it out to third parties to do because it's been in kind of development quagmire hell for 5 years and they just wanted to get it finished, I guess, like Duke Nukem Forever, which they took on from someone else, didn't they? From 3D Realms or whoever it was that originally started that franchise. And so they've got this half-baked turkey of a game and they just wanted to get it out there. But this has all got me to thinking about games, as I said at the beginning, games that you can get enjoyment from and they're bad, because as I was reading through the comments, seeing a lot of the same sort of thing, people saying, oh God, how could Gearbox and Sega have dropped the ball so much? Thank you for writing this review so I don't waste my $60, and so on and so on. But there were a few people who were not being so negative and were saying, oh, I'm going to try it. I'm going to buy the game. I might not pay full price for it, but I want to get it. And I want to formulate my own opinion, even though this review and lots of others have given it 3 or 4 out of 10 and lots of people are saying it's bad. I want to try it. And I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. You know, you want to formulate your own opinion, because I'm sure there are times when you've been told by everybody else that a game is rubbish and you've enjoyed it. And so that's what I want. I want to know the stories from you guys. And I was thinking myself, are there any recent games that have been like that have had really bad reviews, but I've enjoyed them? And I couldn't really think of any myself. But there was an experience I had yesterday playing a much older game and seeing it in a very different way, because it's a game that, although it was an absolute classic in its day, it was revolutionary and groundbreaking. If you just took that game and transplanted it and plonked it into 2013, it would be an absolute stinker in many respects. And that game is Half-Life. And why would I have been playing Half-Life just yesterday? Well, Valve have reworked it to make it available for Mac OS X and Linux users. And I happened to notice it in my list of games on Steam, and I thought, Half-Life Beta, I'll give that a go and try it and see what it's like, because it's been a long time since I've properly played through Half-Life. And so it was a bit of a slow download because the old internet connection here is pretty poor. But started playing through it and quickly came to the conclusion that it was very different to how I had perceived it, having played it back in, 98 or 99 when it first came out as a 22, 23, 24-year-old, however old I was at the time. And the first thing that really was jarringly uncomfortable to play was interacting with the other characters in the game. They were so robotic, wooden, marionette-like, not just their movements and the blockiness of obviously the low polygon count of these models, but it was the words coming out of their mouth. They were so clunky, the dialogue was so wooden that it matched perfectly with the clunky and woodenness of the models. But that was such a disconnect from what it was like when I first played it. Seeing those characters back in my 20s, I was, wow, these characters are talking to me. They're interacting with me. I was there in Gordon Freeman's world behind his eyes. Whereas now there was this, as I said, a real disconnect. And it was uncomfortable interacting with these characters, but at the same time, I still enjoyed the experience because I was seeing it through different eyes. It was like a child playing with a toy, because the child knows the toy's not real, but its imagination kicks in and fills in the gaps. And that's what was happening here, that I was filling in the gaps of what the developers wanted to create. I could see the world in my imagination that they wanted to build. And so I was playing the game in a different way. I was analysing it more. I was imagining really what it would be like to be Gordon Freeman in this world, whereas with a modern game, I get carried along and sucked into the illusion a lot more than I did with this game. But of course, going back all those years, that would have been the same thing then. I would have been sucked into the illusion back in 99 or 98, because of course it was revolutionary and groundbreaking then. But it got me to thinking that I was still enjoying this game, even though, by all accounts, by today's standards, in many respects, it would be a turkey, this game. The graphics and, as I said, the character interactions and the gameplay is very basic. But I like the overall concept of Half-Life. I like the world they're presenting. So this kind of comes back to this idea again of, can a game that's flawed in one or many ways still be enjoyable? And with regards to Aliens Colonial Marines, I'm sure I'm going to be playing it at some point in the future. Maybe not the near future, because I'm definitely not going to pay anywhere near full price for it. In fact, I think that this is going to be very much like BioShock 2, sliding into the £5 bargain bin faster than you can say, "Get away from her, you bitch!" So, thank you very much for watching. From my spare room to wherever you are, this is Simon signing off. Bye-bye.